Hi. I just want y'all to know that when you have special need children or children who may be a little delayed on their development, it doesn't mean that cheap ass shit as Carlissa's Blueface mama said it was. She's hooping and hollering on the internet basically that she got a Fisher Price toy to help Junior. Lady, your son said that's not his child. Stick to the program of that's not his child. If that's not his child, y'all log off when y'all see her log on. Y'all go about y'all business. Y'all block her. Y'all do whatever y'all need to do. A woman can say 1,000 times till she blue in the face that that's his baby. If he's not stepping up to the plate, y'all move on and allow that man to be at peace. As long as you're focusing on a child that does not have anything to do with your son because your son is saying that's not his child. We all know why he wanted Chrisean to come out to his concert. He still have fans that also are her fans. He's still making money off her because I believe they still in a contract together. So with that being said, she probably didn't have no choice but to go ahead and show up. But she don't have to tell us that part of her business. That has nothing to do with us. The part of her business that she said that she was going to enlighten us on was his therapy. She was going to allow us to see him do home therapy. Because we ought to know as parents who have had children, and I'm talking to the parents that had children in therapy, we know that 9 times out of 10, she can't show that. She can't come up there with her Twitch cameras and lighting and show that. So she showed what she could show, and that's the in-home stuff that they told her to do. Knowing you have a child that has a problem with his foot, they are going to give you some home therapies that you need to do. Not every foot problem needs to be addressed with surgery. Sometimes they can give you Botox shots. Sometimes they can just give you a little therapy. And in that therapy session, they will tell you that you need to do this and that and the third. You need to buy this, that, and the third. And just because she bought something that looked cheap to you because it had foam on it, you really couldn't see it past the protective foam it had on it. Let me tell you something. I took my child to therapy weekly when it was offered to him. Because he wasn't meeting his milestones at 6, 7, 8 months old. Somebody came out, they tested him to see if he actually needed the therapy, and he got what he needed. She came out every week. But I think if I put a phone up in her face and show her on camera, she would have probably had a problem with it. Because who said that you wanted to come to somebody's house to do your job with a phone in your face talking about, hey, tell these people that you're doing their home therapy. Tell these people you're the interventionist. Tell these people that you're the speech therapist. Tell these people that you're the physical therapist. because I could have had a physical therapist come out to my house. I chose to turn that down and say that I'm okay with going to the physical therapy place. In home therapy, they can't bring those big equipments they have at the therapy place. And knowing that my son was still a baby, he wasn't a toddler when he started, he was a baby. It really wasn't a whole lot of big equipment that he was using. The older kids was using that. He was using just little play around little toys that she could have easily brought to the house. When the interventionist said, "Do you need me to refer you to a therapist that can come to the house?" I said, "No, we're fine with going to the therapy place that you referred us to." Now, the speech therapist, on the other hand, I probably would have rather a different speech therapy place, because we had 2 speech therapists to quit, saying that our house was too far away, but they was not notifying the therapy place that they were no longer coming. So that means they were forging signatures, obviously, because they were getting paid from what their boss ended up saying in the end. That the first one finally she turned it in, and we got another one. And then the second one, she just didn't turn nothing in at all. She decided, well, let me just keep the money coming. Now, did my son learn how to talk? Yes and no. School did. When he got in school at 3, they did. But see, I live in a county, it's not the state, the county that allows kids to go to school at 3. Krishan Jesus is finna be 3 years old, cause if they don't have a school for him to go to, then he will not be going to school until he's probably 4. And at 4 years old, they can continue teaching him how to walk and talk. And even if he is considered nonverbal later on in life, you have nothing to do with it. I will go back to say that your son denied his own flesh and blood. And you keep saying because of the internet. When you log off the internet and you talk to this woman, how do you look this woman in her face on a FaceTime knowing that you're denying her child? How do you even have a conversation with this child? And then you keep denying him to the public. He's not Fetty Wap where he agreed to be somebody's daddy, knowing that he wasn't the daddy. And then when the public started asking him to be, was he the daddy, he denied it because he knew biologically there was no chance of him being the daddy, because she came to him and told him she knew who the daddy was. He wouldn't step up. Eventually, that daddy did put himself on the forefront, and I can't say he stepped up, but, he made himself be known so that man could stop taking the credit. He got a little jealous, that's what it was. He didn't want somebody else taking the credit for being the daddy of a child that looked just like him. If you see the pictures and the pictures of her child, they look just alike. They got the same head shape, skin complexion, everything. Even though she's the exact same color. But that color doesn't matter. What matters is her child looks just like her dad. And her child does have a disability. And that might have been why he didn't necessarily come out at first when she had the child. But eventually he came out once he saw, she did what she's supposed to do. Got her child some therapy. I know her child needed therapy to get where she needed to get to in life. But everybody's not going to be that first time mom and want to push their child. They're going to want to let him do it on his own. They'll learn it on their own. They'll get it on their own. Other children get it on their own. He'll learn it. He's just taking a little time. Not realizing you have to push your child. Just like you have to push your child in order to get them to be an honor roll student in school, you have to tell them, go study, go do your homework, go read a book, go and do some schoolwork, go to the school, go. You have to keep iterating this to a child. You have to keep pushing a child at any moment. Just like when a child does football, they might not do it snap of their finger. You might be like, go to practice, try again, da. My child's not the best at track, but I keep telling him, go outside, run, keep training, you'll get better, practice. Whether he do it, that's just because he's 15 now, whether he do it or not. He knows that he will get better if he keeps trying. I always pushed him. I had a friend who said, I ain't never pushed my daughter. I'm not pushing her, da. And when she was about 5 years old, people was catching on to the fact that she had a problem. But she moved, and some kind of way, her paperwork didn't move with her, some paperwork, and they couldn't address the situation. The other school had to figure it out on their own, on what was the problem or what was going on, or why they thought when they ruled out it wasn't dyslexia, and they ruled in that it may be something else, that school district didn't test kids. They make you go to the doctor and you wait on all these appointments and they test the kids. If she had stayed in this school district that my son was in, the school would have tested them and saw that this little girl has ADD. This little girl needs the help that she needs. Her ADD is worse than my child. She's worse. And there's different levels of having ADHD and ADD. Some kids are worse off. Some kids are better off. Even though they caught hers when she was younger than when they caught my son, when they found out where, being diagnosed. She was diagnosed in the 3rd grade. My son wasn't diagnosed until the 7th grade when his grades was really, really bad. Really bad. And we couldn't figure out why his grades were so bad. And why he couldn't stay focused on the work. But one thing I do know is if you push your child at any young age, they will catch on. People were saying don't wait too long so that your child, her child, don't end up in a wheelchair. But because of the fact that her child wasn't supposed to be doing certain things at a certain age, she could care less. And when he got to that age where he should have been doing those things, she was too busy focused on your child and what your child needs and wants were. Making sure that your child was straight up in a situation where you was blaming her for putting him there. You should have been blaming him for putting himself there. Because he could have been there way sooner. But all they did was give him amount of money he had to pay. And from what they say, he hadn't paid that money back. Tell him to get $20 million and pay off his debt. Oh, he don't have it. But you sitting there worrying about a child he don't claim. As my mama told somebody and I overheard the conversation, she said, if your child claimed that child, then you have to step up to the plate as a grandmother until your child figure out that's not his child. But once he get to the point where he say that's not his child and he stand on that ground, oh, that's not being his child, back up. Back up. And let it go. Even if you want to be in that child's life, even if you wish the mother would let you be in that child's life, back up. Back up. Because as long as he's not claiming that child, the mother is not going to let you, as a grandmother, have anything to do with that child. Not one. And the only way she may do that is if she know for 100% factual that that's his child. But she tried that with you. You turned her down and said, I don't want to get along with you because you're being fake and phony. And so she went back to doing what she normally do. You talk shit about her, she went back to talking shit about you. Two wrongs don't make a right. She's young. She gonna do what young girls do. When you do her wrong, she gonna do you wrong. You can't sit here and talk down on someone and think that they gonna step up to the plate and be the bigger person. Because she's in her mid to early 20s. She's not doing it. She gonna do what mid to early 20-year-olds do. And she gonna do you wrong too. And they gonna try to outdo you. You can't talk down on a young lady. You have to uplift. Regardless of what y'all problems were, you as the 50-some-year-old woman have to be the bigger person, the wiser person, and say, I'm not going to do that. Even if you say it's the truth, leave the truth in your head. You don't always have to speak the truth. The truth don't need to be spoken. As someone told me one time before, who you proving the truth to? Who you proving it to? Come on the internet speaking the truth, but who you proving it to? Long as you know and they know, the person you speaking of, that that's the truth. Who are you proving that to? Since you have to have validation from the internet, that person gonna back up out of your life and not give you the chance that you wanted from the get-go. The reason why you went to her house and wanted to hold Christian Jesus. But now since your son has said that's not he's not his child, and you know why she said that wasn't y'all flesh and blood. Because every chance you got, you was downplaying the situation. So eventually she's not saying that he wasn't kin to you biologically. She was saying, and this shouldn't even have to be broken down, she was saying he's not your kin physically and emotionally. He's not kin to you. I have family right now. I don't fuck with them. They're not my family. Family, I feel like family is who you choose your family to be. You can choose your family. Now, your biological family, no, you cannot choose them. You cannot choose your biological family. But you can choose your family. And the biological family members that I do deal with, that's because I choose to deal with them and choose to make them my family. Just like you say you don't fuck with your sister, you choose not to fuck with your sister. And you chose not to continue being her sister. That doesn't biologically change that. That physically, emotionally change that. Physically, you're not in her life. You don't deal with her. You don't take anything to do with her. Emotionally, you don't deal with her. You don't take anything to do with her. So that's what makes her not your sister. You see what I'm saying? I said, so for the young people who are listening, focus on your children. Don't focus on a man and a family and what that family got going on. That's what people are trying to get through to Chrisean now. That if she sit back and focus on her and her child and what her child needs and wants are, and stop worrying about what a man got going on. And if that spirit, and we do say spirits because men leave spirits behind. The only spirit you want left behind once you done cleanse yourself of all the other bad spirits is the God spirit. And please stop using God as a weapon because God don't work that way. You can't say God gonna handle you because he don't play about this one. That's not how that works. God don't play about his children. He don't. But that's not how it works. He not gonna do something evil to them just because they hurt your feelings or they hurt your heart. You pray to God and you don't pray bad things on other people. That's why they say you never let anybody pray for you. You let the right people pray for you, because some people can be praying on your downfall. People can pray to get you hurt. It is a thing called praying to Satan, if y'all didn't know that. It's people who worship them, and it's people who worship them without knowing they worship them. When you pray to God, you be specific on what your needs are, but you never pray evil against somebody else to God, because that evil might turn on you. So when you use God as a weapon and say, God got me, he gonna get you, he gonna make sure that you get your karma. Nah. Yeah, they gonna pay for their sins. Yes, they are. Trust and believe. And it's not when they want to pay for their sins. They gonna pay for them. They definitely gonna do that. They definitely gonna pay for their sins. But not because you say God gonna do it. God don't jump at your mercy. Meaning God don't jump at your footsteps. You got to jump at his. He's an awesome God, but ooh-wee. He don't necessarily be there just because you need it. He be there when he want to be there. Because certain things are a teaching lesson to you. That's why it's a thing called red flags. And when she saw the red flags in Blueface, she was too busy being evil-hearted, trying to piss Jaden off. And that's not how life goes. And while you was trying to piss one woman off, you had to go through putting up with the red flags. I'm dealing with the red flags. Just like when at some point she saw red flags in Ronnie and they parted their ways. He gonna say when he got locked up, she, left hung him out to dry. She left him there when he only did it for her. But you can't blame her because from the story he tell, he didn't have to shoot that man. You had already beat him up. You could have got in your car and just left. And that's why he did time. That's why they felt like he needed time. Because if somebody trying to rape me, the certain states, the law feel like once you got that lady out that situation, like I said, if somebody trying to rape me and a man come get me out the situation, we supposed to leave, not come back and shoot the man. And so that's why he did his time. But he didn't understand that. He just wanted to blame her to make her look bad on the internet. But when he told that story, if y'all go back to the videos, they all over YouTube. If you go back to those videos, he sound crazy. And God rest the dead, but the truth is the truth. He sounded crazy. Saying that he didn't deserve no time for that because she didn't get locked up. But she ain't the one that shot the man. She ran. You ran outside to get a gun, to come back in, to shoot the man, and then say, well, when we all got locked up, she told. Yeah, I'm sure they convinced her that you was already in there telling on her. That you was already in there saying that it was her fault. Well, how? You said the man was trying to rape her and the other girl that was with y'all. So if both of them told on y'all, now one of them got no time, and even the dude that was with y'all got no time, then how? How? How it wasn't your fault? God, can you please tell Ronnie? Ask him how it wasn't his fault. He could have got in the car and drove off. And if he didn't understand that then, I hope he understand that in his death. He looking down saying, I understand now. I didn't have to kill that man. I had already beat him up. Some people might have said, well, he would have found the next young thing. But that's not your business. You go to the police after that. Even if y'all say, I don't deal with the police, you still have to go to the police and say what he did so he could get locked up instead of you being locked up. And that's what his grudge against Chrisean was. Him having to do time in jail while she was out doing whatever she wanted to do. And when she decided to go over there and join the Blues house, he was jealous that she was getting what he didn't get. Because he wanted to be the rapper. She just wanted to be an actor. And when that didn't pan out, she found another way to go. Everything ain't meant for everybody. And because I guess she wouldn't put you on after that. But then when you got connected to her by saying that's your baby, instead of you trying to get yourself put on, using the clout to promote your music and something positive, you just wanted to keep after her and try to get her child taken away from her. And as a mother gonna fight to keep their peace and sanity. And now that he's gone, she want people to leave it alone. And as y'all bloggers and tea sippers and wine drinkers, y'all eat it up for lunch and breakfast every time he come out and say, that's Ronnie's child. It's only Ronnie's child when she's not doing what you want her to do. It's only Ronnie's child when she's not jumping to your every beck and needs and wants. She wouldn't drop that child off without her having to be there. Oh, so it's not his. That's not how life works. Oh, she needs to make sure her child is okay and safe and his well-being is being met. Where he can't come to my house or he can't be around me. So you gonna tell the world that it's not your child? All you had to do was tell the world, well, that's my child. His mother is choosing to not go along with my wishes. I will not be no longer discussing that child of mine. And if I do anything for that child, y'all would never know. And if I'm around that child when he's older, y'all would never know. That's all you had to do. Just leave it at that. But Miss Carlissa, leave that girl alone. Leave that girl alone. What she do for her child is what she do for her child. When that child get grown and that child is old enough to be able to decide on his own, if he's in that mind state, he may not never be. But if he is in that mind state where he's able to make his own decisions and he decides that he wants to embrace y'all with his appearance, then you have something to say about how his well-being is being met and not being met. But until then, leave it alone. Let it go. Just let it go. You talking about you gonna be tuning in to her live stream? Let it go. Cause there's gonna be things that you just don't like and she gonna do as a first time mom. Especially with a special needs child. Leave her alone, let it go. When your son decides that he wants to be daddy to that child finally, then you have something to say. I also want to explain to the people in the back. Cat-cry syndrome is a syndrome that is a genetic disorder. All y'all who says it's the alcohol, it's the weed, she caused her child to have cat-cry syndrome. You can't cause a child to have cat-cry syndrome. If you know how to do your research, you would know you cannot drink and smoke and cause your child to have cat-cry nothing. Now, can he have alcohol, fetal, and cat-cry? It didn't say that he couldn't. He could. He could have both. But I do know he has cat-cry syndrome. And Carlissa said when they went to that appointment, when she was 5 months pregnant, and the doctor told her something was going to be wrong with her child, and she was in denial then, that means her child showed signs of cat-cry syndrome in the womb. Now, I didn't see that part of the research saying they could find out in the womb, but if they could find out your child got Down syndrome in the womb, they can definitely find out other things. Now, alcohol fetal syndrome, that's different. Fetal alcohol syndrome is usually found out afterwards. I did see that. After the child's born there, I did see that. Now, I also saw where they said, and y'all can Google it for yourself, saw where it said kids that have fetal alcohol syndrome do not cry. That's why I said he could probably have both. But most kids that have fetal alcohol syndrome do not cry. Every time I look it up, they say no. that they will have a high, they may have a high pitch in tone, but they will not sound like a cat and cry like a cat and coo and sound like a cat playing in the background. They will not do that. Eventually they will sound more normal, and he's not getting no more normal. His pitch still seems high, and what we gonna wait till he's about what, 13, 14, 15 years old, and see if his voice changed to a deeper tone? Y'all crazy. Y'all are stone crazy. The child has cat-cry syndrome, which is a genetic disorder, meaning somewhere down the line, somebody had this. Or meaning that their genetics just don't mix. It could be the two. It could be in either one of their families, or either their genetic genes just don't mix. And it might have been a good thing that she's not dealing with him anymore. Not because of their toxic relationship. It's because of the fact that their genetics makes cat-cry syndrome babies. And who needs her with 12 of them jokers? She wants 12 children. Who needs him with 10? Because he said he only wants 10. Well, not. Who needs him with 9 children that would have this? Who needs him with 9 other children? He got, as we know of right now, he got 2 normal children. 2. Plus Nevaeh's child, which she said the doctor said everything is normal as of right now, and they would have found out by now if her child is going to have Down syndrome. So that means they would have told her if they suspected anything else, like they told Chrisean. If Carlissa was, Miss Carlissa, if you was telling the truth, as you always say you do, if they told her then, that means it was a genetic disorder. You do not find out that your child had alcohol fetal syndrome at 5 months. You don't find out till your child is born. Because sometimes the parents don't get to really drinking until the child, till they farther along. So you never knew. And some parents can drink, and the alcohol does nothing. It depends on what they're drinking too, if y'all didn't know that. It's not any alcohol, no. Sometimes it depends on what they're drinking. And sometimes it depends on what you're smoking. And sometimes it depends on what little pill you pop today. If you're smoking weed, a lot of people would say weed doesn't affect the baby. Sometimes it does more harm than it does help. But some parents have said that it helps them. But that's because they're only smoking weed by themselves. Now, I have seen where people have said, I worked at a club, and if I notice that you're pregnant, I'm not allowed to sell your alcohol. Well, Jason Lee gave her alcohol because he didn't know she was pregnant. I wonder how many other people didn't know that she was pregnant because she was so lean. And from being active most of her life, that she wouldn't have showed as soon as someone like me, which I started showing at 3 months. I really started showing at 3 months. So if it took her till she was 5, 6 months to really start showing, people probably was serving her alcohol if she was asking for it. Ain't nobody gonna ask, are you pregnant, to a woman. Maybe clubs should. Well, if you're pregnant, there's a law that says we cannot serve you alcohol, so are you pregnant? More likely, they probably just say no if they really want it, or their friend go get them a drink if they really want it. As a friend, if I know you're pregnant, I'm not serving you alcohol. I might get you a mocktail, and you'll never know that didn't have no alcohol in it. You'll just think it's a weak-ass drink. Go get you a Shirley Temple. And we know the strongest thing in the Shirley Temple, depending on how they make that Shirley, is that ginger beer. Or some people use Coca-Cola because they don't have ginger beer on hand. But I will say this, and I'm ending this video right here. Like, comment, and subscribe. And just mind your own business. Sometimes if y'all mind your own business, you wouldn't be so busy in other people's business and having to worry about their trolls. Tell what you got going on. Ooh, you got to get something going on to have something going on. And bye for now, because I'm going to mind my own business, getting a bag. Hey, got to get to the next bag.